All right, welcome to the 2017 World Sneaker Championship Top 8 Selection Show. So this week, we are back with two more esteemed experts in the field of design and culture. And I want to first start off by introducing the legend of the group, one of the first of the two legends in the group, Mr. E. Scott Morris, who is a legend in our industry. He's been in the industry for quite some time. We've worked together for many years back in our previous lives. But I first want to say thank you very much, sir, for giving up a bit of your weekend to share some knowledge with the future of this industry, or a few of the talents that you will see could be the future of our industry. But thank you very much for giving up some time and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with the World Sneaker Championship audience. So thank you very much, sir. Any words of wisdom when we go in?
Be patient.
Right.
Look for things that work.
Right. That's true. Good point. You know, a lot of companies could use those simple words, actually, and do really at it, actually. Yes. So next up is Mr. Jason Mayden, who was also a legend, even though, you know, you're younger than the two of us that got gray hairs, but you are beyond your years in age, sir. So I appreciate you again for giving up your weekend, your time with your family. And again, for both of you for, you know, answering the call when I needed to get some professional insight. So Jason, I appreciate you, brother. And thank you for joining us this weekend.
Yes, sir.
And then we have our usual suspects, Mr. D. Wells. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us again. You took a major L last week with your prediction. So we'll see. We'll see if you want to try to redeem yourself. There's less options to be right and wrong this week. So maybe that'll help. Okay. And then Mr. Sean Williams is back with us. You were back from your hoop dreams. So welcome back. Came back in one piece. So appreciate you coming back and hanging out with us.
Yeah, my record wasn't too bad 2 weeks ago, for the record.
2 weeks ago, yes. That's true. Last week was a bad Nostradamus week for the people. For people that we had on, so
okay,
they didn't do too well, but at the end of the day, the designs were pretty damn good. So I think you guys will see the quality of work that 2017 has presented. 2016 we had a really nice turnout, but 2017 I think scared a lot of people. So now really the people who was really able to do it, you know, jumped in and here we are at the top 8, which is going to be a hard elimination process, but it happened, and we'll discuss each of the top 8 designs and kind of see if they make it to the top 4.
All right.
Next week. First and foremost, I want to thank Foot Locker for allowing us to host this globally and to being a major supporter of the World Sneaker Championship. You guys have been an amazing partner for us throughout this whole process, not only this year, but last year. For those of you who got a chance to see any of the World Sneaker Championship experience we did in New York City last month, you can see kind of the beautiful space that we were given. And then, of course, the shoes were released and they disappeared in the first day, which was great. Fantastic for us. And also fantastic for Maxwell Lund, who won, by the way. So congrats again, Maxwell, for amazing job. Next up, I want to thank Wacom. They are a new sponsor with us today, not today, new sponsor for us this year. And started last week where the top 16 received some amazing Wacom products. And every week that advances, you also receive even more and more products. If you get to the end, you will have a complete Wacom studio in your home, which is pretty dope. So thank you again, Wacom, for being a partner with us this year and a consistent, loyal kind of supporter of Pencil and everything that we're doing for the next generation of talent. I think we're ready to get in, fellas. I think we're ready to get in and see what's going on. First, E and Jason, I want to give you a recap of this is what the top 16 looked like from last week.
Yep.
And what we did was we paired them up together, and we got the people's opinions, and we got some professional opinions, and we made some edits. So we'll jump right into the very first matchup. This first matchup, we have Arthur and Alexander. So let's see between those two who advances to the next round. Nice.
Wow.
So Arthur advances to the next round.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations.
There's Drake's
Congratulations, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So what you fellas think about that?
Well, what's interesting is just my quick right off the top. I think he really got that modern piece with that molding in the sock. And just my observances, he really got the modern piece. He really got the aesthetic piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's probably easily commercial because he's not doing something that would be difficult or hard to do other than manufacture, but they'd work that out. I think it's very original. It's almost like if you know anything about the history of footwear, back in the day, Nike had a shoe called Air Rider. It looked like a potato.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like the old school Air Rider got technical.
Nice.
And it just kind of upgraded itself. So we are in an era of what I call, do I need laces? Should I have laces, but I want to be comfortable? But, if I got to run somewhere, I could run and know that the shoe's going to do what it's supposed to do. So it looks functional. So I think that congratulations, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jay, what you think?
Very clean and simple in terms of like the line work. So we always talk about having that, that 50-yard read, that iconic piece that stands out from a distance. It definitely has it with the way the vamp and just the overall midsole sculpting comes to life. I think that it's dope because, this is a good week for Canada. Drake drops his album. Now Arthur is out there representing.
I know, right?
I'm like, man. So shout out to Canada. Everything is a beauty to change for the whole country. I think the textures and the color are interesting. That juxtaposition of colorful marbling against like earth tones and more muted, really compelling. I'd be curious to hear what he was thinking about that kind of marbling in the outsole, because it does stand out. It's a big feature.
Right.
It's like it's something that can easily be time with changing just the upper, because that tooling is very simple and elegant.
Mm-hmm.
From a high to a mid to a low, very, very simply. So I think there's a lot of versatility, a lot of potential with the silhouette.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What's crazy is back in the day is like whenever a shoe didn't have laces, it was always for old people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't find a shoe without laces. I mean, with laces. Sorry, with laces.
Anybody got no time for no laces?
Right.
I don't know, guys. I still like tying shoes.
Well, I think it's interesting.
While I can.
Yeah, in a world where no one writes cursive and no one ties their shoes, it's getting
right. Right, exactly.
So if you write cursive and tie your shoes up, you're considered a very foreign, advanced person in the next decade. What I do
kind of always.
Hello.
I've kind of always been intrigued by this design since the very beginning.
Okay.
I'm glad we were able to see the toe box, because from just the preview that we saw,
yes,
I couldn't tell that it covered the entire toe up to the the midfoot. So it looked weird. It was like actually in his previous renderings, I thought it was like a wood. It looked like wood grain. But now with that, that top down look, we can actually see how it goes across. It looks almost like a little bit of an old school dress shoe, but definitely that I like it. And then in the rear, that the way the sock liner is, I mean, it could kind of be reminiscent from the heel. Is it a 5 or is it a 6? I don't know. Doing a shout out to Canada there too.
I see how you work that. Okay.
So
that's good.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm glad Arthur showed us some more with this. His renderings.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Congratulations, Arthur.
Arthur, nice job.
Good job. Good job. Hey, you know what, fellas? I forgot. I forgot to allow Mr. Morris and Mr. Mayden to actually introduce themselves, to tell the audience a little bit about themselves so that they can better understand the quality of knowledge that they actually are receiving today from these two young men. So, E, could you drop a few on them so they better understand who you are, sir?
Sure, absolutely. So, to all of the Pensole Nation out there, E. Scott Morris, at your service. Been in the industry for 26 years now. Been in it since 1990. Worked with companies like Reebok, worked on Emmitt Smith's product, worked on Shaq's product. Left there, came to Nike, did the fastest 15 years on record. It was a fast 15, believe this. And worked on Michael Vick's product 1 through 5, all of the cleated product, the Vapor from 2008 all the way up to today. Cleats still out there on the field. People still love it.
Nice.
Again, also, and for all you young up-and-coming designers out there, I worked in a group called Core Performance. We worked on $60 to $90 product that was a $2 billion machine. So let me help you with something. Signature doesn't always mean signature. If you can make a product that you can serve more people, you've done a great thing in this industry.
Yeah.
Like I said, I retired from Nike, and then jumped back into the game to work with Under Armour for this last couple years. And I helped out with Curry 3 that's on the market now. How I wish I could have done the one I wanted to do. And if maybe one day I'll show that to the general public, but we won't be talking about that today.
Right.
That said, I basically gave them a thank you, and I am currently at the tail end of a 6-month knock. Get in the cannon and shoot myself out April 8th. So
that's right.
Here we go again.
Nice. You got a date too. Nice.
All right. Yes.
You got receipts, names, date.
Yes. Very nice. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Mayden.
Yo. So where do I start? I started at Nike.
Is he frozen? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Gotcha. So I started in the industry as an intern working for Jordan Brand. So that's why I connected with Dwayne when he first came over to ACG. Got a chance to work with Scott Morris and vibe out on several projects with the branding exercise for Michael Vick. I mentioned my first project wasn't necessarily culturally relevant, but it became culturally relevant. It was the Monarch.
Yes, sir, it did.
Y'all think about cool kids and you think about all the stuff that's happening out in the industry, understand that the coolest thing you can design is something that has intentionality and provide value for underserved communities and demographics. It doesn't always have to be, in the cool moment next to the cool person. Cool is what you make it.
Yep.
So spent 14 years at Nike. In between, I left and got my master's in business from Stanford. Came back and worked in digital sport where I was an innovation director. We led the strategy on Fuel Band, Nike Plus, Nike Connected Fitness. Went back to Jordan. The shoes of Dwayne when he stepped away to build Pensole. For the record, I am Dwayne's first Pensole student. So he trained me well. The hardest boss I ever had in my life, but also made me a better man, a better father, and a better designer. I would say during the time back in Jordan Brand, I had the good fortune of being interim general manager, innovation director, and design director. So 3 jobs in one. Worked on a bunch of projects from predictive analytics to trying to get Jordan Brand to push new culture and new looks. Under my watch, we did the Future We did the Flight Flex and different silhouettes that started to change brand's aesthetic. Walked away after having a heart-to-heart with myself and God and my family, and left, moved back to the Valley, formed several companies. Some did well, others didn't. Now I'm working in venture capital on the designer and entrepreneur resident side, where I'm building my own company. I lecture and teach at universities around the world. Most notably, I'm back at Stanford at the design school. And I had a good fortune of to not only build businesses, but help build communities and go back and give people not just jobs, but capital to start their own wave. So a lot of times we think about joining a brand, think about starting your own. You're the consumer, you could be the producer. So empower yourself with knowledge and surround yourself with people who constantly, and that's how we'll move culture forward.
Yep.
Excellent.
Very good. Thank you very much. I always feel better when I'm rapping to y'all, brothers, man. I always feel better. Always leave the conversation better. And that's honestly the things that we all should put ourselves in, those situations where we're talking to people, and when we leave, we were way better than when we got into that conversation.
Agreed.
And if you're not having those moments, you need to get some new friends and some new people you hanging out with, because you're missing out on growth. You're missing out on knowledge. So this is great. No, thank you very much for sharing, both of y'all. I mean, you know, we had a nice talk before we went live, which could have been shared to the audience, which would have been great. But now, thank you again, guys, for being here. I sincerely appreciate that.
Absolutely.
True.
All right, let's go to the next matchup. Next matchup we have.
Go.
All right, Sarab and Guillermo. Well, so let me ask you: do you want to try to predict who you think survived this week?
Okay. I'm gonna go with G Money on this one. I just think, he's been pushing it, hitting it hard on social media. I love that design, but more importantly, yeah, I'm feeling. I'm gonna go all in. All
right. What about you, Sean? Who you think is going to advance?
I've always kind of liked Mr. Rob's design. It always felt to me like something that I wanted to buy in terms of the tooling, that flow, that speed, that just me being a car guy also, it just speaks to me. So I'm going with Sarab.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
G Money.
Yeah.
Brazil in the house.
Yeah, he did. He went in on this.
Well, you know,
he's from Brazil. All right.
This is a very interesting detail. You talk about the inspiration about soccer, right? Or international football. And he talked about the perfect mix of the footballer and their lifestyle. It was super timely in the way it looked, because the aesthetic is right of current. So very modern in how it looks. I think the function is nice in a sense that he's giving you a little bit of lacing, but he's not overdoing it. Has an incredible commercial factor. And question it, they would look at it and say, "What is it?" You know, I won't say it's super original, but I think for the sport, and if we're talking international soccer, football, FUTBOL, right? Then we're definitely talking about hitting that lifestyle and speaking to that consumer, and that's a great thing to do. And I love that he did the toe with the quilting, very connected to the history of soccer.
Yep.
So bravo, G, you got that one.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
You crushed it with the P on the heel cup too.
Yeah. Nice touch. Golf clap.
Yep. What you think, Jay?
Yeah, I think it's fresh, man. This, he said a lot of what I would chime in on, but where I think this has a lot of legs is through print and pattern. You can easily use this as a canvas, separate stories and narratives. And the culture of, it being inspired by Rio it's so unique because people don't really understand the history, or I would say the narrative that comes out of Rio, and how they believe that it's actually really Atlantis and all this other like super dope stuff that comes with the culture. So the blue and the gold and some of the details, I mean, he has unlimited what they can do for limited edition, because I see he marked it, 1 of 300.
Yeah. You see, he called his shot right there. You see that?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, he's definitely strategizing from a merchandising standpoint. So I think that from a design standpoint, it's solid, but from a future visioning and line planning and him projecting out, I see these being short, quick, straight, hard hit stories. That's smart, because he's not thinking about just the design. Now he's thinking about the merchandising and how you position it, which to me, designers have to think that way.
Right.
Yeah.
About retail destiny. So I think this is really dope. Just the execution and the subtle details and the finish. Really had a lot of fun.
Very good. No, that's true. He did go in pretty deep.
He did.
Nice. Congratulations, G. You move on to the next round.
Word up.
All right.
Congrats, G.
Let's see who's up next.
Yeah, G.
All right.
Oh, good matchup.
Yeah, man.
Good matchup.
All right. What do you think, Sean?
This was always a tough one.
Yeah.
It's both of these shoes I recall, the history of how they advanced to this point and the thought process behind them. Rugged, in your face kind of push that Dennis has by his design. The only issue with it is I don't see enough of the on it, and Melvin kind of gave us a little similar design, and just kind of saying about the last design. You can do a bit more of a possible and more consumer friendly and storytelling on Melvin's. So I'm all with Mel.
All right. D?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, going a little back to last week's show, we talked about production and so much stuff going on in Dennis's. I like the simplicity. Again, too, on Melvin's, I'd like to see that, top down, what it look like on foot. To see that toe cap area, the lacing, simple. It looks like leather, or it could be wood. So I'm gonna have to go with M&M on this one.
All right.
All right. Look at that.
Maybach metal.
Good job, Melvin.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yep. See, that's what I was looking for.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I can say, just looking in my observation, having the privilege to kind of see this shoe on Instagram, Melvin's been pushing, I've been kind of observing. This young man really gets footwear design. He really understands it, and he is working really hard to be a student of the game. I think functionally, he's addressing all the modern cues. I think he's getting to what people want today. So from a commercial aspect, he's standing right on it. I think there's a little bit of originality in the sense of he's trying to deliver you comfort by way of that wedge in the midsole and letting you see another version of foam and yellow underneath. So he's really trying to give you that, hey, you're getting more than you might think. I think that's great. The aesthetic is great. I mean, if you've got on that tapered jogging pant, or you've got the nice pair of jeans on, that's going to dress up or dress down real nice. So it's going to look great. Again, I know that he's going with the wide lacing, you know what I mean? Big span across, what I call a tight throw, when the laces they're tighter as opposed to more open. But I think now the audience is actually okay with that now, it just tells me how old school I am, where now that's not as much of a big deal. People say, no. If it fits me good, I might not even lace it.
Right.
The conversation that Sean had mentioned earlier. But I think it looks comfortable. It looks like you could go out and enjoy your day. You know what? You might shoot a couple threes along the way if you're in the park, and just so. I think you got a real sharp shoe here, Melvin. Nice work.
Nice,
man. I think Maybach Melvin.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I think what he did is he understood the not only the aspects of sneaker culture, but the aspect of leisure that people look for. Like when you buy shoes, you're buying them for a very specific function and purpose and emotion. Think about comfort. Think about the ability to have that lockdown and all the stuff that you need for fit. But at the same time, there's a little bit of fun and playfulness to it.
Yes.
Yep. He really found that balance between avant-garde language with line work, but just simplicity and comfort through the tooling. Because you got to have that balance. Like you got to pick where you have your science project on your shoe. The whole shoe can't be a science project.
Right.
The human mind can't accept too much new at the same time. So you need a little bit of familiarity to draw them in. And then you push them forward with these kind of radical detailing. So the lacing system for me is a radical detail. The outsole sits in between future and something that I feel I've seen before, which is a nice balance of familiarity. And I like the way the top line kind of dives into the midfoot. It really is fast, and it makes the shoe look like it's leaning forward. I'm a big fan of shoes that look like they're in motion.
Agreed.
And E. Scott's master of that. And so for me, I really like it. I like that it has that forward-leaning gesture. Yeah, that's really good.
Nice, very nice.
Good work, Mel. Congrats.
Yes, congrats, Mel. Made it to the top 8. Very good, sir. Very good. All right, next matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay.
Martin and Ammo.
Okay.
All right, B. Who you think is going to advance this week? You won for 2 now, right? Yeah, you won for 2. No, you 2 for 2.
No, I'm 2 for 2. Yeah, I'm 2 for 2. I'm gonna go with
You did okay.
I'm gonna go with Martin on this one. I just think that that kind of the zipper, the offline zipper, the toe box, just again, fast moving, something different. I can't wait to see the other sketches, and renderings for this. Because I think there's some stuff that's hidden that we can't see.
All right. So you going with Martin?
I'm going with Martin.
All right. Sean?
My heart wants to go with Ammo, but my mind and knowing everything else about what we're doing here, being the World Sneaker Championships and a more of a global appeal competition, and the design itself that Martin has presented, I gotta go with Martin, but I would definitely buy Ammo's shoe if I had the opportunity.
Okay.
All right, that's good. That's good. And that's the other thing too. I forgot to mention is, the winning design. Well, first of all, the winning designer will receive $20,017.
All right.
And they will have their shoe sold globally at Foot Locker.
How about that?
Nice.
As well. So.
Can I answer? No,
right. Yeah, the stakes are high.
Yeah, they are.
All right.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Oh, there it is. Look.
RCA.
Woo. Okay. Martin Dean, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a game. This is serious.
Yes.
So let me just say right off the top, and I think Jason said something earlier, and I'm gonna go right behind him. The emotional content of this shoe is amazing. It has so much character. To not be a lot of stuff on it, this shoe is just like, I know I'm the baddest shoe on the block. I dare anybody to step to me, right? This is almost, if you could go back in time and take Jordan and put Michael Jordan at 22 years old, 23 years old, and say this was his off court, people would be like, oh, okay. But I tell you, it's got a lot of things. I think functionally, I'm checking out the bottom, and I'm like, okay, very nice. right? He's got that. The aesthetic is beautiful. Even if I disagree, I agree with the fact that he's doing something with shape that you don't see athletically every day, right? If we're gonna talk about modern, if 1 is not modern and 10 is modern, this guy just cracked 10.2 and he kind of broke the knob off the stereo and threw it on the ground. Okay? This is very modern, right? Again, I know, and D capped on it a little bit. He said, I wanted to see the other views of the design to determine if it really was what I was looking at. And I really think what we were able to see from Martin is Martin said, oh yeah, I have what you want. You just got to let me put it on paper, right? So he delivered. Again, I think the shoe's really cool aesthetically. It's got a lot of emotional content to be a black and white shoe.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's hard to do. What he did is hard to do. So I'll just simply say, incredible job. And man, I tell you what, hate to be stacked up against this cat the next Elite 8 round. He ain't playing.
He can't get it. I mean, first I would say I know Mark moved on, but I know he won in terms of names. That is the illest name I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
Oh, that's just hard. For me, I love the emotion. I love the gestures in the design. Almost like a new category. If you put your hand over the forefoot and you see the heel, it's just bad. And you put your hand over the heel, you see the forefoot, it's just bougie. So it's like, this is like the Migos version. The whole thing is just different than what I expected. And so what I like is that it does what we used to do in Jordan, where you hated it or loved it. There's no middle ground to this shoe.
That's it.
So it gives me that quick polarization, like, ooh, what is that? But at the same time, when I start to turn at multiple angles, he's been very in a 60-degree design. And I think that's what's been missing from footwear.
Right.
Most people realize you're designing almost like a cylindrical and spherical object. So you got to think about the user as they rotate it and look at each surface. You need something to go, ooh, what is that?
Right.
So I think he nailed it. RCA is an amazing school, so I'm not surprised he do great things with cars, but to see him bring that level of style and finish, where it's pretty cool. And I see the hidden P too at the bottom of the outsole. That's pretty slick. I see the little pin solo.
Yep. Got it in there. Yep. I wanted to add this in too, just a little asterisk for Ammo. Ammo, if you're out there and you're listening, man, you had a fantastic design. One of the things that, Dwayne has been very critical on, and I mean Dwayne Edwards, CEO of Pensole. Yeah. He's big on proportion. And one of the things about the shoe is I got this sensation that the shoe seemed the same across the plane. Like it didn't have all of the anatomical pop it could have had. Right? Because functionally you delivered everything. I saw the offset lacing. I saw the internal sock. I saw how the asymmetry was set. And so part of me goes, you had the design. My question is, if you would have drew that on a last to an actual scale, you might have had a fresher, even more interesting shoe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good comment. Because it appealed to me. The shoe did appeal to me over Martin's. It just wasn't all the way there.
Yeah, it was just one more round of revisions. That's all they need. One more round of F.
That's it. Agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
No, it's good. All right, this is. I hope they're paying attention, man, and everyone else is paying attention because you guys are dropping some serious knowledge on them that most kids don't get in college, right? They don't get this type of feedback and insights on their work. So this information isn't just for Ammo or Martin; it's for all of y'all that's listening. So thank you guys for doing that. All right, congratulations, Martin. You moved on to the top 8.
Bravo.
Yep, very good job, sir. All right, let's go to the next one. All right.
This is gonna be a hard one.
This is definitely hard. Get ready.
Yep. All right. What you think, Sean?
I've always been a fan of Mr. Quetzal Ramos's designs, man. He gets it in. And even when he's working with some of the more familiar in the footwear design. He throws in something that makes you go, wow, yo. This whole tear away in the midfoot kind of appeal, this effect that he put on this. Beginning, I've seen it and I've always felt like, yeah, that's gonna go pretty far. And I was right, because here we are talking about him weeks later.
Yep.
So for me, it's Cazal's design. No disrespect to Joe's design, because I like something that looks like it's moving in motion and gives me the same feeling that I get from certain cars. But I got to give this one to Cazal.
All right. Good call, D.
Yeah, I've been riding with QR for the weeks now. So, and just every time I see this rendering, I see something new. Something about Joe just doesn't look out. It doesn't look in proportion. I think it's something. I think it's the forefront area.
Yeah.
I understand what he's doing in the back there, and I like that, because I think of how easy it'll be to put it on and get going. But something about that forefront of Joe's, it just, again, is missing. Q's gives me like, okay, what is that floating midfoot area?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what the outsole looks like, and just that pop of red is just enough to like, ooh, okay. It looks like it expands like rubber bands, like ribs of a ribs in a human being.
Yeah.
Nice. All right,
Yeah.
let's see. Let's see who advances.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
I'll say this right off the top. There's an old saying, because we are in March Madness, right? We live in the March Madness time frame.
That's right.
There's a 12 that beats a 5, right, in every bracket.
Right.
That 12
Right.
Well, in my opinion, not in this case. Okay.
Right.
Not in this case. Okay. 5 beat the 12.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I think so.
Wow. Okay.
We live in a time where our consumers are very interested in the why, right? They want to know why I should get it, right? And then if the what connects with the why, that helps kind of bring them into this reality. So I look at what Joe put down, and I look at what Ramos put down. Both of them gave you something to look at. But because Joe was trying to get you to say the heel sets up the forefoot, because really the forefoot, there's not a lot of extras on it, right? The front third of the shoe is almost emptied out. What he wants you to do is check out the back to check out the front, right? So functionally, yeah, he's going with that modern class. You know what? I'm going to challenge lacing and take it to a new place. I think the millennials love that. Aesthetically, what he's done with that front 2/3 is to shut it off. And what we've seen with a lot of modern product these days is they shut the front off so you can get excited about it. No question, it's modern. Is it commercial? I think it's commercial. Again, that's where you're going to get the functional challenge of when you make it. What can you do? What can't you do? But for the most part, I think everything there is doable. Now, Deep talked about originality, right? I think this is, again, in the genre of what's current. So this is a different take on what we've seen thus far, right? Adidas NMD, a couple other shoes they might have put out here and there, and then a couple other brands that are out there. That said, did I think Ramos' shoe have a lot of emotional content? Yes, it did. It definitely had the muscular, sinewy highway midfoot. But when I think about the midsole of that other shoe, it was nothing there for me. It had top line shape, but it didn't make me question, am I getting more? Whereas Joe, with his midsole, if you take a look, he's really trying to do a pseudo bellows. He's calling out traction. He's giving you a lot of details in places that a lot of times it's hard to give you good details. So I think that's why the 5 beat the 12 on this one.
All right. That's good. That's good.
I think for me, this is one of those situations where I think a lot of designers, young designers, are never told this, that color makes and breaks your design.
Yes, it does.
Because it either amplifies the form or it hinders it. Amazing design, but unfortunately, he had a very common color Like he went with something that was safe and familiar. Red and black has been, so immediately there's either positive or negative association with something you've seen before.
Sure.
A more simple, muted palette, that's where everything is at right now, where earth tones and kind of monotone, a little bit of VisVim, FIL, kind of like, acronym, kind of really utilitarian features, which people are starting to want more of because folks care about craft. Had the Bad and Bougie, this is like a Drake album. Like it gives you a little bit of emotion, and it brings you back to the club. And the next thing you know, you're talking about the six.
Right.
Like a lot of different elements that either you like or you hate. So it's no gray area. He tried to pull unique inspiration. I don't know if it's a reach, if he really had the mask, but if that's his genuine, authentic story of how he got the lacing system, then it's cool because people love authenticity. The purpose. Superfluous detailing is played out, and I think that most people want a little bit more substance when they spend their money. So I'm excited to see. I mean, if anything, he should customize the mask and put it next to it and have a whole pack. Just don't limit yourself to like create the pack.
Yeah,
bring it to life. Don't think that people don't want to buy systems. That's what they want. They want a full experience, not the product. Put the product in context and then create the experience.
That's it.
That's good. No, so that's actually a good call out too. Nice. Congratulations,
Joe.
Yeah.
Good work.
Joe, there is more life, Joe, more life.
That's right. All right. Let's see who's going to the next round. All right.
Oh man,
this is tight wire act here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both have a love-hate to them.
Wow.
What you think, D?
I've been riding with Aris's design. Again, that's just that it's just so different, so unique. That wrap, with even just that hit of elastic there on the ankle. Again, I want to see it from some other angles. Keenan's, again, just there's something about that. It looks like it's sitting so high, so like it almost reminds me of a Skechers rocker. I hate to say it, but that's what it reminds me of.
The shape
and we know what happened there.
You just Biggie and Kwame polka dotted him.
Yeah,
the whole time. Wow. On the 20th anniversary of Life After Death too. That's just
yeah.
Just putting that. You're right. So I'm still going with Aris.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Sean?
Yeah, I got to go with Aris, man. This one is a tough one. This one is a very tough matchup for me. So I got to go with Aris, though. If I had to put my money where my mouth is, I would go with Aris.
All right.
I was myself a little bit.
All right. Well, you know what? Here's what I call a classic case, right? Again, for all of you designers out there, I'm going to keep saying it until I don't have to, which I might have to not to say it too many more times. You can have a great design, but if your proportions are challenged, and you heard Mr. D. Wells talk about it, he thought that it seemed a little stacked, right, on Medic's design. And so he instantly went to a place and a brand that he didn't want to go to, but that was his only mental reference.
Exactly.
Yep.
So again, when Mr. Dwayne Edwards tells you, you need to think about the proportions based on what the activity in the sport is. Take a little extra time and study products in that genre. If it's a running base shoe, look at the heights of running shoes. You know what I mean? Look at the midsole height. Now, if you intend to do something high, make sure you talk about that. Make sure you tell people, right? Again, if you want to distort things based on real time to romance it, we've seen that in this round already, in a couple rounds.
Yep.
It's okay to do that. Just don't overly do it and exaggerate it. Now, that said, I think what Aris did is something we all think about, but we all dread doing, which is I'm going to wrap it around your foot, right? I know I have drawn things like this numerous amounts of times. And both Dwayne and the fellas know, Jason, that I'm the master of straps. It was like, okay, which way is it gonna go this time, right? Which way we going with the strap? Are we gonna lock it down? What are we gonna do?
That's it. That boy eat, man.
Right.
1,001 of them.
Right.
Yeah,
So when I look at what Aris is doing, I'm like, Aris, you're a brave individual. You stayed true to what you wanted to do, and I like that. Okay. I think again, the emotional content is great because it's very much what I call human anatomy meets product. I think that's great. Aesthetically, it's super easy to understand. There's nothing confusing about it. I think it's very modern. Do I think it's commercial? Sure, absolutely. It has an originality in the sense that because it's not something you see every day, you wonder, will it work for you? My guess, it probably would. And again, I think the emotional content is just right. Jason brought up a great point, color, right? Right now you've got this, really, loam, almost sand, warm sand type color, which is great. But I'd be really interested to know if there were other ways that you saw it, right, to create and build on the experience, right? Now, if I look back, if the design came up, it talked about mimicking, right? Mimicking some of the anatomy, if I'm not mistaken. But if that's true, then you did hold true to your design, and bravo to sticking to your guns. So nice work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, same thing. The strap, that's always a brave exercise because you have to think about the patterning and how, what we call a sweep of the pattern.
Yeah, that's it.
When you design on a shoe, the first thing I learned from East Scott, from Dwayne, from Jeff Henderson, from all the brothers who there's no such thing as a straight line on the shoe. It's lines that have subtle curves to it if you want to have it move around the foot.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting is to see how the lines move with the pattern. You can hide the seams in unique ways because one thing the designers aren't taught is that the way you project to add tech is through pattern efficiency. That means how much waste you have. So we live at a time where we can't have waste because the world needs to be a little bit more eco-friendly and efficient. And you have some opportunities here with the splits and the way you did the sweep on the lines to really of hiding your seams. So I say from a technical standpoint, you did a good job. Whether you knew it or not, people will want to talk to you about if you developed it out. Secondly, I think, going a little bit deeper, into the story, but not having to be so literal. A graphic like me, I can't wear it because it'll blend into my feet. And so you got to think about that. Like, in all seriousness, I think sometimes when you have an inspiration point, you don't have to be literal. Let it be a discovery element. Let it be an Easter egg in a sense, where the consumer wonders what's going on, then they search. Like, give a little bit of the search and feed the curiosity, but don't be so upfront and literal. If you're inspired by a cheetah, you don't put cheetah print on the shoe. So being inspired by tape, you don't have to color it the same color as the tape. You could just, talk about how it folds and how it closes and how things are removable and, so a new closure system. So, but I do like the thinking is different and it makes me uncomfortable in a good way. So just keep pushing the story, but don't worry about being so literal.
Right. Agreed.
Nice.
Well said.
Very good. Very good. Man, y'all getting some knowledge, boy. Y'all giving them some knowledge. Man, okay. All right, congratulations, Aris.
Yeah, man. Great job. Great job.
Great job, sir. All right. 2 more matchups left.
2 more matchups.
All right.
I need wins.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh.
Here we go.
Christian and Alex.
Wow.
I love everyone's reaction already. It was like, oh.
Yeah. But that's when you got something interesting.
Tells you how good everything is up on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Dean, what do you think?
It's so much. I don't want to sound like a repeat of last week's, but something about Alex's design, that rear, it loses me, and I can't visualize it in the real sense. Whereas Christian's, I can see it. It looks like it's an arrow moving forward. It's ready to strike. So I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go with as much as I like the front portion of Alex's, I'm gonna have to go with Christian's overall design.
Yeah. Alex has that thing Jay was talking about, that love hate. As soon as you see
Exactly.
Yeah. All right,
Sure.
John.
It's a very polarizing design from Alex, man. I mean, you look at the front and you're like, okay, and then section of the shoe and you're like, oh, why did he do that? And for me, design is so safe that, in stark contrast to Alex, who just jumped out the window on it, was like, yeah, I'm just gonna really just
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I hear you. I can see that.
So I'm constantly in this battle with, for me, there as you can go versus, I'm going to play it safe and see what happens.
Sure.
And it just always puts up. But, again, we have such esteemed professionals that, are going to be able to weigh in and instruction and guidance for the future. As the consumer, the guy who's loved shoes for so long, if we were the only two shoes on the planet that you put in front of me at the very moment that I had to buy,
Yes.
Christians.
Okay.
Okay. Fair. All right. Let's see who advances.
Yeah. I knew it.
I know it was gonna happen.
I knew it. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to say it because it's one of those things. I realize how old I am now, right? I know how old I am. You know what I mean? I'm afraid to blow out the candles because if I don't, I'm going to burn the house down, right? Like, somebody get the extinguisher, you can't even blow them out. First off, in the spirit of Jean-Paul Gaultier, in the spirit of Christian Louboutin, and all of those guys who do really different things with their designs, right? And scare you half to death. You know what Alex did? Alex said, I have nothing to lose. And he got out on that ledge. Got out on that ledge.
He jumped.
Took that.
He jumped.
Okay? So I have to respect the fact that French flag says that in his blood, you know what he says? I'm going out there on a limb and I'm taking a chance.
Yeah.
I dare y'all. Y'all can hate me if you want to. He created what we talk about in the industry. You either love it immediately or you hate it immediately, right? And I literally did like this mentally when I saw it. Uh-oh. Well, now what do I do, right? Because visually, aesthetically, it's super different. It's front back, right? I'm sleek in the front, but I'm built up so I could take a hit in case anything gets me from the back third. Super modern in shape and look. Commercial, I'm not even thinking about that when you talk about this shoe. I'm thinking about what I call the holy smokes, what is that factor? Emotional content. If 10 is the highest you could get in emotional content, this is a 12. Because this thing makes you go, what on earth am I looking at? What am I looking at?
Right? What are those?
Yeah. Right. Now, this is not to say that Christian Fielder didn't knock his part down. He did his part, right? But here's a classic case where I think, Alex decided I'm going to challenge not just proportion, but I'm going to even challenge how you think it's made, right?
Right.
And again, if you look at his orthographic drawings, he's very aggressive with the bottom. He's very aggressive with the heel shaping. And he wants you to know that he's taking risk. So, again, bravo, dude. I love your fearlessness.
Congrats, Alex. Word.
Ain't into it.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think just the sheer confidence that borderlines arrogance with the form is what I like because it's purely who he is. Now I'm gonna keep with the musical theme. This is like Thundercats album where you don't know what you're really seeing and what you're listening to, but feel good. It's like if you don't know what Thundercat is and you say you like music, then shame on you. It's just, it's everything that you would want to say in an argument with somebody before you leave a room. Like, man, I'm out. Like he just, it's like the person goes into the gym,
right?
Say and just drops the weight and leaves. So I like the mashup of personality and passion. Like you can see this person is, he's trying to design for a very clear, chic, clean cut person, but at the same time, there's that little bit of rebelliousness that shows up in the heel.
Right.
like I said, in a tradition of French design, they have this balance between intent and tension.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this inherent tension that's built into the heel that makes you just turn and say, "Oh man, really?" And it's marble,
Right?
like I commend him on being bold, because like I said, it's cocky and confident, but it's definitely not arrogant, all the way. So it's unique.
Yeah.
Proportion wise, you can improve it, but overall, it definitely has a unique proposition.
I would agree. I stand right behind him on that.
Yeah, very good. All right, congratulations, Alex. You made it to the top 8.
Word.
All right, this is our last matchup for the week.
Last matchup.
Last one.
I'm loving D laughing. He's in the back.
I forget who was being matched up or who was still left in it, and then I'm like, ooh.
This is another tough one.
Yeah.
Oh man, last one.
This is the last one. Yep.
Man.
All right. What you think, Sean?
They're both really, really good, man. From the very beginning when we've seen these both are really good. And of course, with campaign scheme and that very bold articulation in the heel cup, have been a fan of that for him. Like ridiculously ultra modern play on the moccasin with the lacing system, and they both killed it with that sole design that he pulled off there. Like both of these shoes are insane. I would buy both of these shoes.
Agreed.
But this is the World Sneaker Championship.
Yes.
He has to go home.
That's it.
Unfortunately, for this matchup here, unfortunately, someone has to go home. So if I have to pick,
All right. Okay. All right,
they're
D.
both good though. They're both really fire.
Yeah, I concur. I've loved Gabriel's. I just think of how would it be made, how much would it cost, all that stuff. Whereas Chris's just, it just speaks to me. It has spoken to me since day one. So I agree with Sean on this, and my vote's for Chris Dixon.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
That was tough.
Well,
Yep.
one thing about it, you look at this shoe and you talk about that comfort, consumer, customer confidence, passion, lux. I think here's a great example of Chris Dixon really executing on what I call the big idea. Jason Mayden had mentioned it earlier, pick your spots. Subtle in some places, bold in other places. Shoe functionally, you get it. You know it's going to work. You understand it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Aesthetically, the shoe's beautiful. Foot in it, foot not in it. That's the kind of shoe when you walk past the leash line of a Foot Locker and you turn and look, you stop and you turn and you look at the shoe and say, I'm going to get that shoe. I want to see it up close. Is it modern? Absolutely, without question. Is it commercial? Absolutely, no question. Is it original? It's original in the sense it has a beautiful take on what we know as lacing and what we know as fit, right? Mm-hmm. And yet, we see these bold, flat, almost lace-like structures, right? That almost harkens to a moccasin-like past, right? But very, very modern in how it's executed, right? And so to me, anyone wearing it, it gives them the perfect sense of, I have a great respect for the past, but I have a great representation for the future, right? Mm-hmm. So when I see that shoe, that's where Chris, I feel like it's taking me. That's the journey he's taking me on, Mm-hmm. And so I think this shoe is exactly what it should be. I'm sure it's chopped down a lot along its way. And I will simply say this to Dwayne. Dwayne, I don't know how you put these matchups together, but maybe you might want to submit your committeeship to the NCAA for football, basketball too, because like I said, this was a barn burner, bruh. This was a barn burner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, I mean, for me, with the music thing, this is like, J. Cole's last album. I mean, you got a little bit of nostalgia with the long I Stay from the Penny Phone Posit.
Yep.
Then you got a little bit of, modernism with the kind of vertical lines for siping, flexibility, reinvention of the pivot point.
Yep.
The very confident heel branding. I'm a big fan of heel brand because that means your competition is behind you and not in front of you.
Right. Yeah.
So you're always in the back of your shoe. That's the competitiveness in me. I like the fact that he stayed true to, simplicity with the color blocking because it could have got really tricky. He could have highlighted the laces, could have done a bunch of that and would have slowed it down. I think the tone on tone is what grounds this shoe and a little bit of familiarity.
Right.
But the overall lack of stitching, around where the laces intersect, like the little slits, that's very modern. I don't know if those would be lasered or dot cut.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's like J. Cole, man. You got the old 90s hip hop, but then you got that new flavor and kind of intellectualism that goes with his lyrics. It's the same thing. It's like a little bit of 90s basketball from the top down, but then the side views are very modern and crisp. So he's definitely going to carry the torch for Harding University. So,
oh, yeah.
That's the last person.
Very nice.
And if I can add this too, what I think is also fantastic, and I'll say this to some of the young designers out there, what Chris was able to do is what Dwayne, myself, and Jason learned early on, which is what I call the 1-2 punch. He didn't overdo it with color. He picked two colors that he wanted to get your attention. White's neutral, so white doesn't count, and the bottom red doesn't count, right? But that tan black, I'm gonna tell you what, if you can master it in two colors like that, that's a strong hit. That little blue dot on the top, that's just a cherry. That's a cherry on top of the banana split. That's all that is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't be mad at the fact that in his
my wife is giving me the best signal, so do the calls.
All right.
Hi, Jay.
Phil Sonny, I said hello and thank you for freeing you up for a couple days, for a few hours for us. Appreciate that.
I'm good.
Well, good to see you, J. May. We'll be in touch, homie.
All right,
y'all. Be well.
Thank you.
All right, man.
All right. So here's the top.
Yeah, I can't be mad at the fact.
Here is the top 8.
Everything up there is super modern. Nothing is conventional.
Yeah.
Not a conventional shoe up there. It's definitely a different era.
Yeah, definitely, man.
It is. It is.
That's the plan, man. We gotta pass the torch. We can't keep doing it.
Yeah, I realize. I'm looking. I guess what I'm the most pleased with is it lets me know all the designers understood it, but to get to this point lets me know they get it enough that they could quite possibly affect the world.
Right.
It could affect the world, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing. So bravo, guys. All you designers out there pushing the limit, getting it out, getting it going. You got my respect.
Yep. No, that's true. That is true. All right. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, Wacom is gonna reward every time you advance. You get something a little bit more special from them. This week, you get the bamboo slate. All 8 of you who advance to the top 8, you get this bamboo slate smart pad. And, this man, for both me and E, who loves paper and pencil and drawing on paper, this is that bridge, that gap bridge between drawing on paper and seeing what you draw physically appear on your computer. That's
nice.
Pretty dope. So now you guys, the top 8, your bamboo slate is coming. So congratulations. Wow. Congratulations, sir. Lastly, before we get out, E, do you have any closing words for these top 8 as well as even the top 16 that even made it this far? Because making it to the top 16 making it to the top 64 is a win.
Incredible. That's incredible.
In every round you get, I hope that it's elevating your confidence.
Yes.
And helping you understand, when you have people like yourself and people like Jason, people like, D and Sean, and they're commenting on your work, these are people who've seen sneakers for decades.
Yes.
Okay? Decades.
Long time.
Yeah.
And if they're giving you compliments and feedback and ways you can get better, but also commending you for your creativity and the things you've done, that's huge. It is huge because not many people get a chance to actually hear from all these people at one time. So even just the words of wisdom is a win. It's definitely a win. But any parting words for the not only the 16 but the 8?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first, I want to say this, and I want to talk about the whole range back in the 64 of all of the individuals who've been a part of it. Elimination only means that was that round and that's it.
Right.
Yeah. You're a designer. You got to keep trying things. You got to keep it. Okay, because I'll tell you right now, I didn't start off great. I probably wouldn't have been in that 64 if I would have came into the game back then and this would have existed. So the fact that you're putting yourselves out there to show your work, that's an A++. Okay, you need to know that. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Matter of fact, hold your head up and be confident about it because it means you're on the map now. Now you got to maintain and exceed your own expectation.
Exactly.
To the 16, I would say, what? Your hard work, your tireless effort to constantly want to illustrate and think and design and create so that people can see what you're thinking. This is why it paid off. The fact that you got to go toe-to-toe with some of your counterparts says a lot about you, and it says a lot about your counterpart. It wasn't even so much a win-loss as much as it was you have to sit down and think about what the decision-making process is. Because in footwear, a lot of decisions are made every moment of that process, right? Yeah. To the 8, I would simply say this. You all now know individually how you got here, right? So you got to keep doing what you've been doing so that you can get to the next place. Right? And if that doesn't happen, don't worry. Because now people know how good you are at what you do. Stick with what you're doing. Always start with the why. Always think about, who's that athlete, who's that consumer, what are they looking for, what do they need? Think about the story you're going to tell, the narrative, right? Think about what you're going to say about this product, right? Because there's something to, I love it, I hate it, right? And if you can constantly deliver all those things, and again, like Jason Mayden talked about, color, material, texture, right? Form and shape. Make sure that they're the functional elements and match some of those details. I think if you do all those things, it's not a question of if you're going to be great. You're going to be great. Because what you might not realize is the reason why this is happening, all of us are getting to be older dudes. And this torch has to get passed. Somebody's going to have to pick up this mantle and keep our industry great. And guess what? You eight guys right now, I'm looking at each one of y'all like, y'all going to have to hold it up when we give it up. It's on you. So bravo. I'm proud of y'all. And like I said, hopefully when I see any of y'all, you're going to get some dap and hopefully we can sit down and eat something and talk some more. So job well done.
Yeah.
Great wise word.
Yep. Very well said. Very well said, sir. So Sean, any last words before we end the top 8 selection show?
So every time we do this, I have to think back to the very beginning, which we had, in theory, about of the World Sneaker Championship. And that also goes in tandem with the other part of the conversation which came up from my end, which is the fact that I'm very concerned about the lack of dope footwear and product that exists for my kids in 15 who are now consumers. Mm-hmm. And there was definitely the perceived state of emergency in terms of our kids having their own classic shoes to buy, they use them for. Right. And the World Sneaker Championship has single-handedly, in my view, solved that problem. I submitted a design, top 64 or not, down to the final 8. You have an important role to play in being able to offer consumer base, these teenagers who are our kids, these 20-somethings who are our kids, to provide quality footwear, give our kids their own classics. Kids wear shoes that we've already bought 7 times. And you guys are giving a fresh take on everything, not just some things, a fresh take on everything. Courage wholeheartedly for you to keep going, keep doing what you're doing. And thankfully, at the end of this, we'll have product to be released through this competition. But there is the ultimate hope. One of you, and I mean every single one of you, establishes a home somewhere where you're releasing your own dope product.
Oh my gosh, yes. That'd be phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well said.
Good. Very good. All right, D, you can close us out.
Man, all I can say is to all the designers who made it this far, keep moving forward. Keep being, keep telling your story, because no one tells your story better than you through your product. Keep telling that story. Keep telling us why you designed it, who it's intended for, and those that didn't, advance, so to speak. This is not the end. In life, there's no straight line to the finish line. There really is, it's ups and downs, twists and turns.
Yes.
So this just means you get to retool, come back again, and really keep running that race that you're in. So just really, I keep telling people this, like, listen, success is what you defined it. So, keep going at it hard, keep telling your stories, keep drawing and sketching and inspiring people like me and people like us who are looking at sneakers from a broad perspective to say, okay, what does it mean and how can I use this product? So, thank you, D.
Nice. Very well said. So, closing it out, thank you again to Wacom. Thank you again to Foot Locker for allowing us to host this one more week. Much appreciated. One last thank you to D. Wells. Thank you very much, sir. Sean Williams, Scott Morris, and Mr. Jason Mayden. Thank you for joining us this week. Man, I can't wait to actually be back next week to see. Can you imagine getting down to the top 4?
Yeah.
I mean, from those 8, how are we gonna get down to 4?
Oh, that's the beautiful part.
Yep,
if you need Tylenol, I got it.
Okay.
I got it. I'll be happy to share. That's
Good.
hard. That's hard work, man. Just putting that.
Good. We can come down and help me configure this.
All right.
See you guys next week.
Thank you.
Next week.
Make sure
Scott, I'll be in touch with you, man. I know it's long overdue. I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay, man. Whatever you need, bro. I'm here.
All right.
Right. Take care, guys.
Take care.
There you go.